English Assessment 1 Language and Literacy. As a result of communication and education being the foundational building blocks for mankind, literature adopts a very consequential role within the existence and survival of individuals and the wider context of society. Providing rich information centered around groups who don't feel the expectations of societal norms possesses significant power in acknowledging and sharing the unique nature of diverse minorities. Why is literature important? The composition of multicultural literature holds significant cultural authenticity and importance, as it provides valuable insight into the distinct socio-cultural experiences of marginalized groups. Therefore, immersing readers within the text as a means of broadening their worldview to embrace differences, exhibit respect, and appreciate diversity. As the diversity of the universe develops, so too does the need for multicultural literature. Increasing the number of captivating sources that showcase the distinctive yet special qualities of minority groups allows society as a whole to journey down the pathway of demolishing stereotypes and social order in order to accomplish universal acceptance, justice, and equality. Susan Evans, author of comprehensive research conducted in 2010, has evidently proclaimed that multicultural literature aids the breakdown of cultural barriers during early stages of development, as it provides opportunity for children to further their knowledge regarding the experiences, beliefs, and morals of differing cultures. By looking through the perspectives of the beholders, non multicultural beings are able to effectively recognize the diverse nature of society. This then allows them to develop an increased awareness of their surroundings and how they, as an individual, can give thought to the ethics and validity of their own values and customs, hence influencing individuals to adopt the productive qualities of empathy and embrace as a means of avoiding ethnocentricity. As BISTA 2012 advocates, an accurate portrayal of the unique community of people and its heritage is best told through the wise tongue of lived experience and cultural integrity. In doing so, the opportunity for validation and recognition are obtained by minority groups who aren't granted the chance to utilize their own voice for good. In 2008, Steiner, Nash, and Chase from the Department of Literacy, Language, and Culture at Boise State University beautifully articulate that one of the greatest accomplishments we can promote is using books to bring people together regardless of culture. These books can engage children in a discussion of amazing people, social consciousness, and interconnected actions found across the globe, thus making it apparent that through literature, children are able to uncover that ethnicity is not a deterrent to social cohesion and are therefore more inclined to adopt an instrumental role in furthering the ever-rising progress of multiculturalism within the world. A book that is home to both the theme of diversity and importance of multicultural literature is Irene Cobold's My Two Blankets. My Two Blankets follows the development of the young female protagonist Cartwheel as she journeys away from a war-induced country and into something just as daunting, the unknown. Everything about her new environment, including the food, clothes, people, and language, carries a sense of mystery, and the only thing providing familiarity to Cartwheel is her blanket, as it sparks memory through the senses of smell, sight, and touch. It isn't until the universal language of laughter that Cartwheel is provided with a sense of belonging. Together, Cartwheel and her new friend restore warmth in their hearts and create fresh blankets of life. Through text and image, the author unveils the intimidating nature of immigrating from beyond one's realm of comfort and into the overwhelming process of adapting to new surroundings. Within My Two Blankets, three prevalent literary devices that provide insight into the diversity of refugees includes visuals, characterization, and language. The imagery of the sacred elements and personal artifacts embellished on the metaphorical motif of the blanket illustrates the private space of refuge that cradles refugees with a sense of warmth and protection as they become immersed into the depths of an obscure world yet to be explored. Furthermore, the imagery of the scrolls and the fragments symbolizes the complex nature of learning and adapting to new lifestyles and social norms. As Cartwheel becomes overwhelmed by a language that is unrecognizable to her, so does her ability to form connections and understandings to her new surroundings. Contrasting Cartwheel's life prior to immigration through the use of rich earthy tones illustrates a brighter presence of light and passion experienced when at home, as it ignites a sense of emotional wealth and tranquility. Whereas in comparison, a somber and gloomy mood through the use of cool, desaturated watercolors is set by the author to portray the intense feelings of discomfort and isolation uncovered once thrown into the big dark sea of the unknown. Juxtaposing Cartwheel and her aunt out of proportion to everyone expresses the vulnerable nature felt by refugees when exposed to a society much different to their own, thus evoking an unease and weakness due to feeling like individual characteristics are of a minor importance in comparison to others. In stark comparison, the metaphor of the blanket grew and grew emphasizes the significant development of refugees becoming more confident and open to new prospects and opportunities in the unknown land as outsiders begin to embrace cultural variances and treat all with high regard. Additionally, the characterization of the name Cartwheel symbolizes the process of stretching out beyond one's horizon and turning into a multicultural life of satisfaction and equality. Similarly, in When I Went Out, it was like standing under a waterfall of strange sounds, represents the dislocation felt as a result of the linguistic barriers between refugees and the citizens of their new country. This concept is further explored through the use of inclusive personal pronouns in Blanket of My Own Words and Sounds, as it communicates the distinct individuality of those from a culture significantly alien to the majority population. Similarly, the lexical chain of positive connotations in My Old Blanket Was Warm, It Made Me Feel Safe, presents the contentment in self and one's environment once settled in a place of security. However, the emotive language in Now, no matter which blanket I use, I will always be me, highlights the different experiences which enable the creation of fresh cultural and lingual realities that permeate Cartwheel's ever growing blanket, thus representing the emotional growth of refugees venturing out and culturally immersing themselves into new connections and beginnings. Traveling away from an environment of understanding and in turn diving into a foreign civilization of differing languages, rituals, and societal norms evidently involves a number of disadvantages in regards to literacy. The daunting task of having to adapt to new ways of living and doing that are extremely dissimilar to one's previously known culture causes language barriers and uncertainty on how to effectively transmit thoughts and expertise. As denoted by Foster and Torresani in 2008, migrants are often the focus of this negativity due to the perception that they are less likely to assimilate into Australian life because of their cultural distance in terms of language, values, and practices. As a result of cultural discrimination against immigrants in the workforce, the literacy skills of refugees may be put under threat. This is due to the narrow minded people of the country, which refugees now call home, being culturally insensitive and ignorant to the ever prevalent living concept of multiculturalism, and therefore not granting refugees the time of day to converse as just two human beings. This detrimental prejudice against skin color, background, and race hampers the success of refugees obtaining employment and therefore reaping professional career opportunities to further their capabilities in professional speaking, writing, and reading. Foreign environments and language and unfamiliar forms of written literature and text may present the difficulty in being unable to understand everyday tasks. This includes not only recognizing but making sense of community symbols such as road signs, notices, and shop posters. Lacking knowledge in the field of the English alphabet may also present more major types of adversity, including an inability to access resources including health services, educational institutions, and social events. While refugees may be intellectually capable, having to experience prolonged traumatizing periods of terror and displacement often results in having little chance to access their right to education and develop sophisticated linguistic abilities. According to the UN Refugee Agency, statistics exhibit that from the 7.4 million school age refugees, 4 million of those are unable to attend formal schooling institutions. Without an extensive competency in language and literacy, this hinders the chance of refugees boosting their educational experiences and thus financial welfare in the new place of refuge, as they are unaware of standard requirements needed to gain sufficient career opportunities and boost their economic well-being. Being victims of conflicted countries frequently causes refugees to isolate themselves from communicating in order to protect themselves and remain free from harm and judgment. The fear of being ridiculed negatively impacts their future abilities to speak in a proficient manner or maintain high levels of literacy as they avoid the common practice of language. Similar to Cartwell's story in My Two Blankets, being unable to appropriately express one's idea through verbal cues may detrimentally affect one's individual emotional and social well-being as they have limited opportunity to expand on future relationships and therefore feel a sense of loneliness.